is day 2 of a 4-day speaker series that we're having here on the Daily Planet. And this is a very special week. We have 4 sets of teachers. Let me hear our teachers out there. These are middle school teachers who are funded on a National Science Foundation grant we have to come into our labs and to work with our scientists and be scientists to do original research and work out how they're going to incorporate that into lessons back into their middle school classrooms where students can make discoveries with them and with us and do real science. And so yesterday we heard from Team Dirt working up in the genomics lab. Team Dirt. And today we are hearing from Team Shark, who's been working in paleontology. So I'd like to introduce the team: Brittany Argle, Chris Clark, and Nate Bourne, and their postdoc, Dr. Bucky Gates. So they're going to tell us about what science they've been doing.
Good afternoon. My name is Brittany. I teach math in 7th or 8th grade. I'm not really sure. This is Christopher Clark. He's a middle school art teacher, and then Nate is an 8th grade science teacher, and he also teaches STEM for 6th through 7th grade as well. And we are Team JAWS. We have been working in the paleontology lab for the last 2 weeks. This is our 3rd week now, doing research on fossil sharks. But it is so much more than just that. All 12 of us on the first day, we walked into the paleontology lab and our life became Jurassic Park. We all walked in and all of us were just like, oh my gosh, these are real dinosaur bones. This is a real thing. It's not the cast that they have on display. And it just made the 3 of us live out this childhood fantasy that we've had when we've grown up. Everybody loves dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? And everybody loves sharks. So we brought those 2 things together that people all over the world are just fascinated with. And it's been so cool for all of us to experience that, especially when you see things that are the first of their kind. So it's the first fossil that was ever discovered of that species. It's just mind-blowing for the 3 of us. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our experience and the research we've been doing and how we're going to bring that into our schools.
So the end of the first day and the second day, we got right into the lab, and we can see what we like to call Bucky's Bucket here, which is filled with sediment from the Aurora Mine in eastern North Carolina, which is what actually our students, it's a big part of what they're going to be doing. They're going to be sifting through this sediment and finding prehistoric shark teeth from about 3 to 10 million years ago. And it's a mine out there, it's a phosphate mine that they've kind of pulled this stuff out of the way so they can get down to the debris that's underneath and get to what they need underneath. And it's free for the public to kind of get to, and schools can use this for the students to sort through. So this is our first practice here on your left of us kind of going through and actually starting to find shark teeth and learn about the teeth and their shapes and what we're looking for. You know, this ancient coral we're dropping in the no bin, and the shark teeth we're dropping in the yes bin. It was just really kind of eye-opening to see what our kids are going to be doing. And looking at extant sharks, or living sharks that are around now, and trying to figure out the body length comparably to the size of the tooth. And we're going to use that modern data to try to figure out, or make a hypothesis kind of about the sizes of the extant sharks, or the sharks that were in 3 to 10 million years ago.
And we went to the wet lab over at Prairie Ridge, and we got to hold and see these phenomenally scary and terrifying yet incredibly cool real-life shark jaws. And you look at the back and you see just rows upon rows of terrifying teeth. You just kind of get a sense of awe and real wonder. So we collected that data from the extant species and species that are still around, so we can relate it over to the species that passed away. And one of the really cool things about the research was that in some cases the specimens had little green dots on them, and those green dots meant that they were used in a research study. So it wasn't just a trophy wall where, oh, here's some cool stuff that we have, let's go put it in a box and never use it again. But those things were completely used and are still being used to write papers and make real research right now.
It just blew our minds, because you see teeth in real sharks and aquariums, and you see the teeth in pictures, and you see them on Shark Week and these sharks, but to actually see them and hold them and see those rows and rows and rows of teeth, it's crazy, and it makes you start asking all these questions like, why are all the teeth the same size in the rows behind her? They're not like human teeth where you have this baby tooth and then you get an adult-sized tooth. It's just always that size as it comes through. So what happens as the shark gets older and the teeth get bigger? How is the size of the tooth related to the size of the shark? How is the tooth related to what it eats? Some of the sharks, we noticed, they weren't completely symmetrical. They had these tiny little teeth in the middle, on the top and the bottom. How are those size different? Why do some have them and why don't? And we just kept asking question after question after question, and Bucky just kept saying, I don't know. We don't know a whole lot about sharks. And so as we kept asking these questions, and Bucky kept saying, I don't know, we kind of hit this roadblock where we realized our kids don't think this way.
And that's really because in our current education system, we don't really promote a whole lot of creativity on a standardized test. You can't give a creative answer on an A, B, C, D answer scale. And it doesn't really promote that much critical thinking either. So our kids aren't asked to ask questions, or we don't really teach them how to think. And that's one of the biggest things that we started talking about and started developing was, what if we were able to get our students to think like we do, to really start thinking like a scientist?
And so that led us to Florida. Last week we left Sunday, and we were there in Florida at the University of Florida in Gainesville for about 2.5 days doing research, collecting data for what we hope our kids will be able to be using to answer some of those questions that they generate. So the Florida Museum of Natural Sciences, kind of comparable to this museum here, and the Florida Program for Shark Research. And if any of you guys have seen anything on the TV lately about all the shark bites, the guy who keeps getting interviewed, it's Joe Georges, who's in the picture there on the left, was very welcoming and very helpful in giving us the content for about 1,900 photographs of individual shark teeth. Most of them extant sharks that were captured recently. And the cool thing about it is that the length of the shark was recorded along with the jaws. So we know the fork length, which is to the inside of the tail of the hook there, and then the total length. And our students will be able to take that information, look at the size of the jaws, look at the size of the teeth specifically, take some measurements, and see if there's a correlation between tooth size and length of shark.